Yeah, good morning to everybody. Good morning to everyone. So, how are you all? Are you able to listen my voice? Like, am I audible to you? Anybody respond? Okay. So, as I said yesterday, I'm going to close your chat box now and it will be opened at the end of our class. That is, in the last 15 minutes, your chat box will be opened. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can close. Okay. So, in the last class, we discussed about living world as well as biological classification, right? Now, today, I am going to cover plant kingdom. If possible, we'll also try to cover some of the aspects with respect to taxonomy. Taxonomy also we'll discuss. But now I'm going to discuss about plant kingdom. So I know that many of the students, they face a lot of trouble in understanding plant kingdom. The basic problem existed here is because of their confusion among gametophyte and sporophyte, haploidic phase, diploidic phase. This confusion is there for many of the students. That's why they have this, problem. But remember, your gametophyte, as you are already completed your 2 years of course, and most of the teachers, like, they have repeatedly explained you what is gametophyte and sporophyte. Gametophyte is haploidic phase simply, and sporophyte is diploidic phase. That much it is sufficient. There are some 6 to 10 differences are there between gametophyte and sporophyte, but I am not going into all those details because it may be taught in your live classes during your +1 as well as during +2 revision. Now I am discussing, as I said in the last class, only those topics which were not included in our NCERT book. I already told there is some around 10% of syllabus variation is there from NCERT book and our AP state book. So that syllabus only I am concentrating now, not the total chapter. So now if you look into the first Algae, the introductory part and classification systems given in the introductory part of plant kingdom chapter is very much similar for both NCERT as well as state book. But there are some differences in Algae, Bryophytes, Pteridophytes, Gymnosperms and angiosperms in all groups between this NCERT as well as state book. Now I am going into such details which were not included in our NCERT book. Let us take first Algae. When it comes to the Algae, so in Algae, so before going to the Algae, you have to be very clear that Algae, Bryophyte, as per the state book, remember, now whatever I am discussing is all with respect to the state book. Don't take your NCERT book into the consideration. Now this Algae, Bryophytes, Pteridophytes, these 3 groups are considered as cryptogams. What do you call them? Cryptogams. Cryptogams are non-flowering plants. Crypto means hidden, gams means sex organ. So according to the state book, these plant groups have hidden sex organs or sex organs which are not organized in the form of a flower. That's why in the state book these 3 groups were considered as cryptogams. Whereas according to this state book, gymnosperms and angiosperms are flowering plants. This is a big confusion for many students, because our NCERT book says that only angiosperms are flowering. But in the state book, both gymnosperms and angiosperms were considered as flowering plants or phanerogams. This you have to remember, very, very, very important. So these phanerogams are also called seed bearing plants as spermatophytes. Now, the most important thing is, in case of algae, the sexual reproduction, sex organs are called as gametangia. These gametangia are unicellular. This you have to remember. Unicellular gametangia, they don't have any jacket. Exceptionally, Chara and some other algae have multicellular sex organs. Most of the algae have unicellular sex organs, and the sex organs are not covered by any jacket or any protective layer. But exceptionally, some algae like Chara and others have multicellular sex organs, and they also have a jacket. This is very, very, very important. So if in the question paper they ask like which of the following is a algal member with multicellular and jacketed sex organs, then you must go with Chara, C-H-A-R-A, Chara. Chara is a chlorophyce algae. This you have to remember. Understood? So remaining algae, they have unicellular sex organs, and these sex organs are non-jacketed, and you can call them as gametangia. Similarly, in case of algae, when it comes to the sexual fusion or fertilization or syngamy methods, here you can find isogamy, anisogamy, oogamy. In our NCERT book, for isogamy, again we have two different categories. One is isogamy with motile gametes, isogamy with non-motile gametes. Isogamy with motile gametes, isogamy with non-motile gametes. So here in the state book, for isogamy with motile gametes, we have an example as chlamydomonas. This you have to remember. And for anisogamy, in our NCERT book, they gave Eudorina as an example. Which one? Eudorina. But in the state book, even for anisogamy, they gave the example as some species of chlamydomonas. This is one big difference. This actually makes some confusion. So you need some like preparation. Like one girl was asking me in the study class, like her name is Anjali, I think so. I don't remember exactly, but she was asking me, sir, how to cover this much of syllabus? You are explaining so many details, like so much of information you are giving, how to remember? See, I am giving only those information which is not there in the NCERT and which is present in the state book. This information, after once your classes have been completed by evening, like 5 by 5, I think your classes is completed, start preparing, spend 1 hour for botany and 1 hour for zoology, so that you can cover all those topics, like the extra information which is present in the state book and not there in the NCERT book during this 1 hour. Because see, yesterday I just discussed only 2 chapters and today maybe 1 chapter. It is sufficient to prepare. Okay, so within 8 days we are going to complete the whole information, like extra information which is required for your EAPCET. So this you have to remember. Now I am going back again. So for anisogamy, what is the example given in the state book? It is some species of chlamydomonas. Similarly, for eugamy, the same examples were there, like volvax, Chara, fucus. These examples you can take. And under economic importance also, there is one important example that iodine is extracted from kelps like laminaria. Laminaria is a kelp plant from which we can isolate or extract iodine. This is another important thing. Then you also know that chlorella as well as spirulina. This is a big blender. Like this spirulina must not be given here because we are discussing under plant kingdom. Spirulina is not a plant kingdom member. It is belonging to cyanobacteria. But in the state book, both this chlamydomonas and spirulina together were given under the example of SCP. What is SCP? Single cell protein. So this spirulina, chlorella is algal member, unicellular algae. Spirulina is a prokaryotic bacteria. So both are used by space travelers as a source of food during their space traveling, like as SCP, single cell protein. And according to this state book, of course, this information is also there in our NCERT book. Algae is classified into 3 different classes on the basis of pigmentation and type of reserved food material. So this you have to remember. Understood? So this is very, 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 very important. Now let us take about the next group, that is Bryophytes. Even in Bryophytes, we have several differences when compared to our NCERT book. So first and foremost thing, in our NCERT book, we just discussed about liverworts and mosses. In addition to these two, we need to discuss hornworts, that is third group of Bryophytes, hornworts, HORNWORTS, hornworts. Also in the text, in the AP state book, it is given, also given in the AP state book, in addition to these liverworts and mosses. In addition to that, even in liverworts, mosses and hornworts, some extra information is there, which is not there in our NCERT book. Okay. Now, first let us see what are the extra information points were given in introductory part of our state book. The first thing that you need to understand is like Bryophytes, as you know, they are atracheophytic, archegoniate, primitive land plants. What do you mean by archegoniate? They have archegonia as female sex organ. What is atracheophyte? Atracheophytic is nothing but they don't have vascular system or vascular tissues. And apart from that, they are primitive land plants. This you have to remember. Now they are also embryophytic. These are the first embryophytes. Bryophytes are the first embryophytes, first archegoniates, and last atracheophytes. Lost atracheophytism in the dominant phase. Remember, don't get confused. In case of algae, dominant phase is gametophyte and sporophyte is represented just by zygote. In Bryophytes, again gametophyte is dominant. Sporophyte is multicellular that depends on gametophyte for its nutrition, both physically and nutritionally. In Pteridophyte, sporophyte is dominant, gametophyte is independent. In Gymnosperms and angiosperms, sporophyte is again dominant, but gametophyte is parasite on sporophyte. This is the difference. Got it? Next, another most important thing, here I said in case of this Bryophytes, they are first embryophytes, first archegoniates, first lost atracheophytes, because algae have atracheophytism. Bryophytes also have atracheophytism in dominant phase. From Pteridophytes onwards, the dominant phase starts showing tracheophytic nature. That means vascular tissues. So Pteridophytes, Gymnosperms, angiosperms, in all these three groups, sporophyte is dominant, which is tracheophytic. In Bryophytes, both gametophyte and sporophyte are atracheophytic. In Algae also same. But one thing you have to remember, a very important aspect, in all groups of plant kingdom, that means in Algae, Bryophytes, Pteridophytes, Gymnosperms and angiosperms, gametophyte is atracheophytic. So you can get different types of questions in this in this topic. Number one, question number one: which of the following have atracheophytic gametophyte? If the question is asked like this, then you have to select Algae, Bryophytes, Pteridophytes, Gymnosperms and angiosperm, because all of them have atracheophytic gametophyte. If the question is asked like this, which of the following have dominant phase with atracheophytism? Dominant phase with atracheophytism. Which one you have to write? Algae, Bryophyte. If the question is asked like this, which of the following have parasitic, non-dominant or gametophytic stage is atracheophytic? Parasitic, non-dominant, gametophyte is atracheophytic. Which one you have to write? Gymnosperms and angiosperms. If the question is asked like this, which of the following have a atracheophytic gametophyte which is short-lived and independent but not dominant? Which one you have to write? Pteridophytes. See, this is what it makes confusion. Many students face trouble in understanding this terminology that is existed in plant kingdom. So you have to make your own notes. By once the teaching is completed in the classroom, you have to make your own notes. Of course, teacher will deliver everything, but whatever it is delivered in the classroom, you have to mug up sometimes, like at least for few days. Once you are familiar with this terminology and differences, then you will be very clear. After that, you can write or you can attempt any question. So just in one point itself I am stacking up. Let us go, because we have to cover a lot of syllabus. Now another important thing is, in case of mosses, they have root-like rhizoids, leaf-like phylloids and stem-like colloids. Now this rhizoid word is given in the NCERT book, but phylloid and colloid are not given. These two things you have to remember: phylloid and colloid. And of course, plant body is parenchymatous, made up of only parenchyma. And they have what kind of sex organs? I already told that they have multicellular, jocketed sex organs. Very important. And they also have stalk to their sex organ. For example, and as you know that they have the sex organs like antheridium. So antheridium is club shaped. It appears like club, gada. In the study class I already told. Then archegonium, it appears like flask. Now look at here. So both are multicellular. They have multicellular nature. Understood? Multicellular nature. Now this is stalk. So this stalk is there. In archegonium, this is venter and this is neck. These three things you can find here. So in antheridium, this is stalk and this is body. So this multicellular jocketed sex organs are present in case of bryophytes. And one more important thing, all bryophytes are homosporous. All bryophytes. Understood? That means they produce only one kind of spores. So, and another most important thing, they have heteromorphic alternation of generation. That means their gametophyte and sporophyte morphologically different. heteromorphic. Remember. So what do you mean by heteromorphic? Gametophyte and sporophyte are morphologically different. And they also have alternation of generation. That means gametophyte alternates with sporophyte. Gametophyte produces gametes. These gametes fuses and forms a zygote. The zygote then gives a sporophyte. Sporophyte through meiosis produces spores. The spores again produces the gametophyte. So they are alternating. That's why it is called heteromorphic. Why is it called heteromorphic? Because their gametophyte and sporophyte morphologically entirely different. I'll show you some diagrams. Then you can understand. I think you know that in your NCERT book also there, like Funaria structure. There is a leafy form at the bottom and there is also food seta and capsule. I'll show you in the diagram so that it will be very clear about this morphological difference. Yeah, look at here, look at the board carefully. So now look at here. See this bryophyte like Funaria. This part is gametophytic and this is sporophytic. So gametophyte and sporophyte, do they have similar kind of morphology? No. Their morphology is entirely different. This gametophyte is a leafy form, but sporophyte is not leafy. This sporophyte contain foot, seta and capsule. The foot is inserted into gametophytic tissue. So that's why we can say that now they have what kind of life cycle? Alternation of generations. In alternation of generations again, it is heteromorphic alternation of generations. As I said, these bryophytes have 3 different classes as per the NCERT book, state book. In our NCERT, we just studied only 2 classes, but in the state book, they gave 3 different classes. One is hepatic apsida. Hepatic apsida, that includes liverworts. Hepatic means liver. Hepatic means liver. Hepatic apsida. So their body appears like a liver. Next, anthoceratopsida, that is hornworts. Antho means like horns. It's a Greek word, horns. So the sporophyte appears like a horn. Horn means komulu. So that's why it is anthoceratopsida. Next, Bryopsida, that includes mosses. These are 3 different classes. So under this, first we'll be discussing about liverworts. So it is very clear that liverworts have what kind of body? So liverworts have thalloid plant body. Look at here. See, this is the liverwort body. You can see here. Now this is Mercantia. Mercantia has the thalloid plant body. The plant body is thalloid. Understood? Then apart from this, you can check here. Now this archegonia are produced in archegoniophore. This is archegonia. Then here is the antheridia on antheridiophore. And apart from this, you can also check their capsule. So I'll show you the capsule so that you'll get more clarity. Of course, it is not given here. Now here you will be getting capsule, like after a sexual reproduction, capsule will be formed. This capsule contain spores as well as elaters. That is very, 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 very important. Look at here, spores and elaters. Spores and elaters. So elaters are hygroscopic structures which helps in dehiscence of the capsule. Dehiscence means rupturing, as well as dispersal of the spores. So this you have to remember, and this point is not given in our NCERT book. That's all. Next, when it comes to hornworts, also called Anthoceratopsida members. Even in hornworts, we have best example as Anthoceras. Even in hornworts, the plant body is thalloid. It is thalloid only. But what makes the difference between liverworts and hornworts? The most important difference that existed is, in case of hornworts, you can find horn-like sporophyte. What kind of sporophyte? Horn-like sporophyte. Horn means scomu. Understood? So horn-like sporophytes. And this sporophyte contain a basal foot. This is foot. And it also contain intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem. Then apart from this, this capsule, of course there is also capsule, and here this capsule produces spores and pseudo-elaters. Remember, elaters are different, pseudo-elaters are different. Elaters are found in hepatic apsida member, that is liverworts capsule. Pseudo-elaters are found in Anthoceratopsida members. Their function is same, analogy is same, but their homology is not same. They are not homologous, they are analogous. Analogous means functionally similar. They also helps in dehiscence and dispersal of capsule. Dispersal of spores. So that is the importance of this Anthoceratopsida members. Next, when it comes to the masses, even in masses we have lot of variations. As you know that here in case of masses, look at here, look at the board. Now if you think that this is a Antheridiophore, so this Antheridiophore contain uniseriate. Look at here. Now this is a uniseriate. Uniseriate means cells are present in a single vertical series. Uniseriate. Filamentous, sterile heads. These heads are called paraphyses. What do you call them? Paraphyses. And in between this paraphyses, the sex organs are present. That means the sex organs are intermixed with paraphyses. And they also have pericytial leaves. These are called pericytial leaves. So these leaves covers the whole, this Antheridiophore as well as Archegoniophore. And one more important thing that you need to remember, that in case of Bryophytes, mosses particularly, Antheridiophore is also called moss flower. What is it called? Moss flower. This is not given in NCERT book. Of course, they are not flowers, they appear like flower. That's why it is called moss flower. Why? Why do they appear like a flower? Because this Antheridia, they are in orange color, intermixed with paraphyses, and this orange colored Antheridia surrounded by pericytial leaves. This pericytial leaves arrangement makes this total antheridiophore appear like a flower. That's why it is called mass flower. So this is very important. Now they have paraphysis, and this is intermixed with the sex organs. A sex organ is antheridia and archegonia. So this we have to remember. And apart from this, in the capsule you can find in the capsule you can find peristomial teeth. What is present? Peristomial teeth. They don't have elatus. They have peristomial teeth. Peristomial teeth helps in dehiscence of capsule, dispersal of the spores. Dehiscence, capsule, and dispersal of the spores. For both they help. Which one? Peristomial teeth. So if I go on explaining what is peristomial teeth and how they appear, it again takes a lot of time, but as some of you may not be understanding if I just use this terminology, so I am giving you some details, not all. Look at here, this is the capsule. Now this is seta and this is capsule, and here you can find some teeth like structures. These are called peristomial teeth. Peristomial teeth. So this is called operculum. Operculum means a cap-like structure present at the top of, capsule. And this is apophysis. All those details are not required. And inside there is sporangia. Now this is the structure. Just simple basic structure. So this peristomial teeth are present in case of mosses. For what? Dehiscence of capsule and dispersal of spores. What is present in liverworts? Elatus. What is present in hornworts? Pseudoelatus. In mosses, peristomial teeth. Understood? So this is what we have to remember. So this is very important. There is a chance for getting this word like this technical term in your EAPCET, coming EAPCET. So remember, because this word is not there in NCERT, it is totally new for you. Now common examples, as you know, that we have Funaria, which is also called cord moss or fire moss. Fire moss, the word also you can use. Fire moss or cord moss, Polytrichum, hair cap moss and sphagnum, peat moss, bog moss. Understood? Peat moss, bog moss, these are all various terminology that, common names that we are using for sphagnum. Now let us go with the Pteridophytes. Here again lot of variations are there. Particularly Pteridophytes, there is major differences between your NCERT book and state book. Let us go one by one. So in our NCERT book they mentioned about only hornworts and ferns. But in the very beginning lines of your AP state book, you can see that Pteridophytes includes club mosses, hornworts, as well as, club mosses, then horsetails and ferns. But in the NCERT book they mentioned about only horsetails and ferns. Here, in addition to these two, club mosses were also included. Let me give some examples for these three groups so that you can understand easily. Now if you take club moss, example is Lycopodium. So they are saying that the club moss like structure, like plants, were included under Pteridophytes. Horsetail, example Equisetum. And ferns, we have so many examples. One is Dryopteris and Pteris, Adiantum, etc. So this is what you can see here. And apart from this, they are also embryophytic, archegoniate. So these are second embryophytes, second archegoniates, and most important thing, these pteridophytes are the first tracheophytes or seedless tracheophytes in the evolution of plant kingdom. This is very, 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 very important. Understood? And as you know that these pteridophytes contain sporophylls, and sporophylls bear sporangia on their lower surface. In the NCERT book, they did not mention how sporangia originates on the sporophyll, but in the state book, they have given it. The sporangia development origin on sporophyll takes place in two different ways. One is leptosporangiate type, and the second one is eusporangiate type. These two things you have to remember. What are they? Leptosporangiate type and eusporangiate type. What is leptosporangiate type? Leptosporangiate type in the sense, if a single initial cell develops into a sporangium, if a single initial cell develops into a sporangium, then it is called leptosporangiate type. If a group of initial cells develops into sporangium, then it is called eusporangiate type. If a group develops into sporangium, it is eusporangiate. If a single initial cell develops into sporangium, leptosporangiate. U means group, lepto means one. Just remember that. This is very, very, very important. I think in your junior intern, when you written your IPE exams, you might have studied this. This is mentioned in your IPE materials. So this is what you can see here. Now, as we discussed already, that these plants are with the tracheophytic nature, like they have vascular tissues or vascular system. So they have a stele, and very important thing, the pteridophytes exhibit stelar evolution. That means the types of steles present in the stems of these plants is entirely different. It's very different from species to species. Understood? Not different in every species. Like in one group of plants you can find one kind of stele, in other group different kind of stele. So there is lot of variation you can find in the stelar organization. On the basis of the stelar organization, we have basically, there are actually 6 different types are there, but in our state book they mentioned about 4 different types. One is protostele, second one is siphonostele, third one is solenostele, and fourth one is dictyostele. Got it? In your material also it is mentioned. You can go through if you have material. It is better take the printout of this material and keep it with you so that you can easily follow while I am explaining, because you cannot check every time. You cannot exit from your YouTube and go into again mobile storage and checking this material is all time wasting, right? So better take the printout and keep it with you, along with you when you are following our classes, so that it become very easy, and you can also write there itself the extra information whatever I am giving or delivering in the online classes. Okay, now let us go into this. So now I said there is a protostele and there is siphonostele, there is solenostele, and there is also dictyostele. Okay, so let me explain one by one first. Protostele is nothing but it is most primitive with a central coarse xylem surrounded by phloem. I will show you in the diagram so that you will get clarity and you can easily understand. Siphonostele is nothing but medullated protostele. And solenostele, it is a siphonostele with scattered leaf gaps. And dictyostele, it is also a kind of siphonostele but with overlapped leaf gaps. Let me show in the form of diagram so that you can clearly understand. Now listen to me here. Now explaining about protostele, it is most primitive type of stele. Here, look at here, this is the stem. In the stem, the central part composed of xylem. This is xylem, and this xylem is surrounded by phloem. This is phloem. So this is centrally located xylem, and this xylem surrounded by phloem. This is called as protostele. Next, let us take the next one, siphonostele. I said it is medullated protostele. What is it? Medullated protostele. That means here, if you take, this is the stele, the central part is medulla. Look at here, this is xylem. This is xylem. And the central part is medulla. Medulla is nothing but pith. You already come across in our anatomy syllabus in the first year, right? So this is phloem. So here also same thing is there, like the xylem is surrounded by phloem, but in the center there is a medulla. As this protostele has a medulla, it is called siphonostele. Okay. Next, the third one, solenostele. Solenostele is nothing but, it is a siphonostele with scattered leaf gaps. I will show you in the diagram so that you will get the clarity. Now look at here, this is the stele. Now this is xylem. Xylem, and here you can find medulla, and this xylem is surrounded by phloem. This is phloem. Got it? So this is xylem and this is phloem and this is medulla. Now this is called leaf gap. I think you got the meaning of, now you are able to understand what is the meaning of gap. That means here most of this pteridophytes, not most, almost all pteridophytes have rhizome as underground stem modification. Of course, it is also mentioned in your NCERT book for equisetum. Under equisetum diagram you can check. So on this rhizome, sometimes say you think that this is rhizome, Now one leaf has originated here and other leaf has originated here. That means these leaves, have they originated on the same vertical line? No. Or other leaf will be originated here and here or here. Wherever the leaf originates, there the stele is broken like this. That means here you cannot find the vascular tissues, the place where the leaf is originating. Now this region where the vascular tissues are not existed is called leaf gap. Now this plant will have scattered leaf gaps. That means leaf gaps are present at different locations, here, 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 here. Diagrammatically we will be representing like this. Next, the last one, dictyostele. Dictyostele. So this is also a siphonostele. It is a siphonostele with overlapping leaf gaps. Let me show the diagram so that it will be more clearer. Look at here. Now this is the stele. Now the stele is broken into many fragments like this. This is one fragment and this is another fragment and this is another fragment. And each fragment will have its own xylem and it will also have its own phloem. Look at here. Now this is phloem and this is xylem, and very interesting thing, every vascular bundle will also have its own endodermis. It's not vascular bundle, the broken segment of the stele will have its own endodermis. Look at here, it has its own endodermis like this. Got it? Now this segment of the stele is called meristele. What is it called? Meristele. So you can also define dictyostele as a stele with meristeles. Meristeles means small steles. Like stele is broken into small fragments. Now this part is the medulla. The central one is medulla. So this is called dictyostele. Now this is leaf gap here. This is also leaf gap. This is also leaf gap. Understood? This is what you can see here. So they have overlapping leaf gaps, which means, say, look at here. This is a rhizome. Here there is a leaf attached to the rhizome. Exactly opposite to this, there is another leaf attached. So what will happen now? There will be overlapping leaf gaps. So this kind of stele itself is called dictyostele. So I took a lot of time just to explain this concept because this is very essential. It is not there in your NCERT book, but these things are required for your state EAPCET. Okay, so it is better copy this information into your notebook. Of course, you may not be maintaining. I told you that just by tomorrow, just get the printout of your material which was supplied from the Sri Chaitanya central office. So in that material itself you can draw all these diagrams. So today what you can do is just take the screenshot, and then we'll proceed for the next topic. Take the screenshot and keep the screenshot with you, and copy this information into the material. Okay. Yeah, is it completed? Okay, so now, this is about the different types of steels. So I think you are clear about the different types of steels existed in different plant groups, I mean pteridophytes. And another most important difference is, I told you in the Bryophytes that the sex organs are multicellular, jacketed and stalked. The sex organ has a stalk. Archegonium will have a stalk. Antheridium will also have a stalk. But here the sex organs are sessile. Sessile means here stalkless. Don't take your zoology definitions for the word sessile. Okay? Got it? In zoology, the teacher will give you a different definition, I know it. But don't take that definition into here. Sessile. Whenever we say sessile, like particularly botany teachers, whether it's me or any other teacher who comes for the next coming days, if he uses the term sessile, it represents what? Stalkless. If they don't have stalk, it is called sessile. Because in zoology, even for Verticella, you use the term sessile, though it has a stalk, isn't it? Yeah, so I know it. So the definition given in your zoology part is different and botany part is different. So sessile here means stalkless, that you have to remember. Next, when it comes to under pteridophytes, we have to discuss about the ferns. This is again a big story. It itself takes 1 hour to discuss the whole, all the details of the ferns. So ferns includes one of the best example given for the ferns. To understand the details of ferns here is Bryophytes. So this ferns will have rhizome as their underground stem, and they have generally large pinnately compound leaves. These pinnately compound leaves are called as fronds. What do you call them? Fronds. Let me show in diagrammatic form again, so that it will be more clearer. Look at here. Now this is the rhizome present in the soil, and these are the adventitious roots. Remember, they don't have rhizoids. It is rhizome. So this is rhizome, and it is adventitious roots. And what kind of leaves they have? They have generally pinnately compound leaves. Of course, some of them also have simple leaves. Generally, they have pinnately compound leaves. Now look at here. This is the leaf. Now this large pinnately compound leaf is called frond. And you know that this is a leaflet. Leaflet is also called pinna. Remember, this word is not there in your NCERT book. I think even teachers that don't use this term pinna, pinnule. These are all the various terminology we have to use for leaflets, because this terminology is not there in the NCERT book. That is why most of the teachers, they don't use these terms while explaining compound leaves in your junior intermorphology, but you need to learn. So this is also called pinna, pinna or pinnule. Pinnae is plural, pinnule is singular. You can also call this pinnule leaflets or pinnae or pinnule. Understood? Now this is compound leaf. Now the younger leaves shows succinate vernation. What? Succinate vernation. This is young leaf. It shows succinate vernation. It is not venation. Don't get confused between the term vernation and venation. It has to be pronounced as vernation. Okay, so it's a succinate vernation, not succinate vernation. What is it? Succinate vernation means, look at here, the young leaf fold from its tip to base like a watch spring, like this. Look at here, it is folding like a watch spring. This folding of the leaf is called vernation. Arrangement of veins is called venation. Both are different. Got it? It is vernation. This is very, 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 very important. Have you got the clarity? I think so. So now let us proceed to the next step. And another important thing, the young leaves as well as the petioles of the leaves are externally covered by brown colored hairs. Look at here. Now these are the brown colored hairs. Now these brown colored hairs are called ramenta. What do you call them? Ramenta. Very, 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 very important. So what are they? They are small hairs. What is their color? Brown colored. And usually they are unicellular. These hairs are present at the base of petiole as well as the young succinately vernated leaves. They are covered externally by ramenta. Then what is it? Ramenta. Remember this term, it is completely new for you. R-A-M-E-N-T-A, ramenta. Now, so I said leaflet is also called pinna or pinnule. Pinna, P-I-N-N-A, pinna. Pinnae, singular, plural. Pinnae, plural. Pinna, singular. Pinnule, singular. Pinnules, plural. Leaflets, plural. Leaflet, singular. Am I making confusion to you? I cannot do anything because so many terminology you need to learn. So these details have to be explained in the classroom, like in our live classes, like during your junior inter. But we are not provided with that much time to explain all these details. That's why the lecturers, like I mean to say your teachers, will rush up just by giving information provided only in NCERT books. Okay, so this information is not required for your need, so they did not put any kind of concentration to give clarity about these aspects. And with lots of struggle, you have successfully completed your first year by mugging up all this terminology, isn't it? So that is what happened. Now you have to learn these details for your EAPCET because they are going to touch. Now let me explain about these leaflets. When it comes to the leaflet, look at here. This is the leaflet. Now this is a central midrib. Every leaflet will have a central midrib. Now this midrib forms lateral veins. What? Lateral veins. Look at here. Look at carefully the diagram. Lateral veins. You can check the lateral veins here. Now, do you find any difference here? Any difference from the lateral veins that you have observed in your NCERT book while explaining morphology and here? Yes, there is a difference. What happened here? In this, the tip of this lateral vein broken into two branches, and these two branches are not joining, they are diverging. Therefore, it is called open dichotomous. Open dichotomous venation. It is not vernation. What is it? Venation, because you are here explaining arrangement of veins and veinlets, right? You are explaining veins arrangement, so it is venation. Whereas here you are saying about folding of leaf, so it is succinate vernation. Both are entirely different. So young leaves show succinate vernation, and a mature leaflet exhibit open dichotomous venation. What is open dichotomous venation? Here the lateral vein splits into two branches. These two branches, are they converging? Are they joining? No, they are freely moving, like they are diverging. Understood? Understood? So that is why it is called open dichotomous venation. And one more important thing, here the sporangia, in case of this ferns, sporangia develops on the lower surface of the leaf, like sporophyll. Say for example, if you think that this is leaf, now these are the sporangia on the lower surface or abaxial surface of the leaf. These are the sporangia. Now I am explaining the same thing by taking the transverse section. Now in some cases, look at here. Now if you take the transverse section of the leaf, it appears like this. In some cases, look at here. Now these are the sporangia. So sporangia are also intermixed with, even here paraphyses you can find. Paraphyses are present even here also, remember. Now these are the sporangia. So these are sporangia. Now the sporangia are covered by a protective covering of its own. A protective covering of its own. Now this protective covering is called inducium or true inducium. True inducium. Got it? It is seen in some ferns. Whereas in case of Bryopteris, listen to me here carefully. In case of Pteris, not Bryopteris, in case of Pteris, the sporangia, look at here. Now here the sporangia are present. I told you that the sporangia are also intermixed with paraphyses. Now these are the paraphyses. But these paraphyses are diploidic, but the paraphyses found in Bryophytes are haploidic. So this is 2n paraphyses. Okay. Now here these are the sporangia. So this sporangia, in case of Pteris, in Pteris, now sporangia. The sporangia are also intermixed with Bryophytes. These Bryophytes are also multicellular. Okay. These Bryophytes are also multicellular. Now, so this is sporangium. And this is Bryophytes. Now see the difference. Here, this sporangial group, this total group of sporangia is called sorus. What is it called? Sorus. Now this total group is called sorus. Now this sorus is covered by a protective covering of its own. Then it is called true inducium or inducium. If this sorus is covered by or protected by reflexed, what? Reflexed. Reflexed means curved. Reflexed margin of leaflets. That means if you think that this is total a sporophyll, now the margins have reflexed like this. Reflexed means curved. Here sporangia will be there. Then this reflexed margin of leaflet is called false inducium. What is it called? False inducium. Where do you see this false inducium? You can see this in Pteris. And whereas this one is seen in Bryopteris. And one more important thing which is not mentioned in our NCERT book is, in case of this gymnosperms, in case of the gymnosperms, Pteridophytes, they have multiciliated, spirally coiled antherozoids. These are also called spermatozoid. Spermatozoid. This is another important thing. So you can also call it as antherozoid. Got it? This is very important. See, I told you today a lot of details. So all these details were mentioned here. You can check. Sporangia formed on the ventral or lower surface of the leaf in groups. That group is called sorus. Singular, sori, plural. What is sorus? This is sorus. This group of sporangia is called a sorus. Sorry. This group of sporangia is called a sorus. Now look at here. In case of Bryopteris, true inducium is present. Look at here. Bryopteris, true inducium. Whereas in Pteris, false inducium is present. You can check. Pteris, false inducium. Okay. So this information is very important. And of course, they have not mentioned this information in diagrammatic form. Better you take a screenshot as quickly as possible, so that we'll switch to the next part. Gymnosperms. We'll complete gymnosperms and I'll leave the class. Is it completed? Yeah. Next, come to the next one. Gymnosperms. So gymnosperms, as per the state book, they are tracheophytic, archegoniate, phanerogams. And we have neetum, which is given in our NCERT book also, which is a living fossil. And they have used steel type of steel, vascular bundles are there like xylem and phloem. Xylem contains, tracheids. Vessels are absent. Exceptionally, some gymnosperms like Cycas revoluta, neetum, they have vessels. And apart from that, phloem lacks companion cells, sieve tube is absent, then they have sieve cells, and secondary growth occurs in the stems. And apart from this, the most important thing, they are oval. It contain nucellus surrounded by integuments. The composite structure is called oval. Now here the female gametophyte itself is called as endosperm. That is very, very, very important. And one more thing, pollen grain directly reaches to the ovule. As pollen grains are reaching directly to the ovule, it is called direct pollination. And it is anemophily because the wind carries the pollen grain. After the wind carries the pollen grain, say this is the ovule, this is the ovule. So here the female gametophyte is present inside the ovule. Sorry, female gametophyte is present inside the ovule. Now this is the female gametophyte, and this female gametophyte contain archegonia. The pollen grains will reach to the neck, micropyle of the ovule, then gradually reaches to the pollen chamber where they germinate and forms a pollen tube. This pollen tube will carry the male gamete. As pollen tube is involved, the syngamy is called siphonogamy. So most gymnosperms have siphonogamy, but exceptionally in Cycas you can see both siphonogamy and zooidogamy, because Cycas contain motile male gametes. So both are present. Very, very, very important. Cycas contain motile male gametes. They are all multiciliated male gametes, but they are carried to the egg with the help of pollen tube. That's why they have both. So in all other, their male gametes are motile, non-motile, and zygote develops into the embryo and ovule develops into the seed. Now these seeds are not covered by any fruit wall, so it is a naked seed. And here even in gymnosperms you can find, like particularly Cycas, it has some Fern characters. What are the Fern characters? One is multiciliated, antherozoites or spermatozoites, cercinate vernation, presence of ramenta. Very, very, very important. Apart from that, archegonia. Remember, these four are Fern characters of Cycas. What are they? Number one, multiciliated male gametes, motile male gametes. Number two, cercinate vernation. Number three, presence of ramenta. Number four, presence of archegonia. And these gymnosperms are divided into Cycadopsida, Coniferopsida and NEET-UG. Cycadopsida, under that we have Cycas, Coniferopsida, we have Pinus, and NEET-UG we have Neetum. Then when it comes to the angiosperms, as you know, they are embryophytic, non-archegoniate and vascular fruit bearing phanerogams. And the root system, as you know, that it is taproot system or adventitious root system, both are present here. And most important thing, the main conducting elements of xylem is their vessels and tracheids, both are present. Sieve tubes and companion cells are also present here. And female sex organ, that is gynoecium or pistil, is present inside the ovule, inside the flower. So that is also called as a carpel. Now I am going to give you the most important part of this chapter, that is life cycles. So these life cycles we did not discuss in our regular syllabus, like during our NEET program. So this is given in the NCERT book as well as in the state book, but there is some difference. As per the state book, we have to go as per the state book. We have three types of basic life cycles in the state book. One is haploidic, of course diploidic also they mentioned, and the third one is haplodiplontic and diplohaplontic. So now look at here, haploidic life cycle, in the sense here, in the life cycle, the dominant gametophyte is the dominant phase. Now the gametophyte is the dominant phase. Now this is the dominant gametophyte. Okay. And the sporophytic stage is represented only by single cell zygote. Sporophytic stage is represented only by single cell zygote. This kind of life cycle is called haplontic life cycle, and we have examples like Spirogyra, Volvax, etc. Next, we also have another one, that is diplontic life cycle. So here sporophyte is dominant. Sporophyte is dominant, and gametophytic stage is represented by one-celled gametes. One-celled gametes. Okay. As per state book I am discussing. I am not discussing as per NCERT book. Old NCERT book also comprises this, but in the state book the information is different. Okay. In the state book for diplontic life cycle they gave only one example, that is fucus. Which one? Fucus. So this you have to remember. So fucus is the example. So in diplontic life cycle, what is the dominant phase? Sporophyte. And gametophyte is represented by one cell, actually few celled also there, but as per old NCERT state book, it is one celled gametes is there. So that is why it is called diplontic. Now bryophytes have an intermediary life cycle where gametophyte is dominant, multicellular, autotrophic, chlorophyllous, photosynthetic, whereas sporophyte depends on gametophyte. This is also multicellular, depends on gametophyte both physically and nutritionally. Hence it is called haplodiplontic life cycle, and it is called it is present in bryophytes. Whereas in case of pteridophytes, they have pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Remember, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. These three groups, as per the state book, they have diplohaplontic life cycle. Remember, in bryophytes, what is the life cycle? Haplodiplontic. In pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, what is the life cycle? Diplohaplontic life cycle, which means there the dominant phase is sporophyte and haploidic gametophyte may be independent, or it may be saprophytic, or it may be a parasitic. It is parasitic in case of angiosperms, it is independent or saprophytic in case of pteridophytes. Parasitic in angiosperms and gymnosperms. So such life cycle is called diplontic life cycle. So these three life cycles we have to remember. This is very important. See, here they have very clearly mentioned. You can check your material also. When diploidic sporophyte is dominant, photosynthetic, independent phase plant, and gametophyte is represented by few cell or many cell, the life cycle is called diplohaplontic life cycle. Example, pteridophytes and seed bearing plants. Seed bearing plants means angiosperms and gymnosperms. Okay. Whereas bryophytes exhibit what kind of life cycle? Intermediary condition, like they have haplodiplontic life cycle where gametophyte is dominant and the sporophyte is depending on gametophyte. So they have haplodiplontic. So just remember the example: pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. They have diplohaplontic life cycle, whereas bryophytes haplodiplontic life cycle, fucus diplontic life cycle, then Spirogyra, Volvax, like most of the algae, they have haplontic life cycle. Just remember these examples, that's enough. Okay. So you can go through this information, like all the information whatever now I explained is mentioned in your this material which is provided to you. And after this we have to discuss about taxonomy. We'll discuss regarding taxonomy in our next session, which may be on Monday. There is no classes tomorrow, it seems. So if classes are there, I will not come. That is a different case. So classes are not there as per my knowledge concerned. If there, other teacher will teach. I will come on Monday again. So on Monday, I am going to cover the entire taxonomy of angiosperms. Here also you are going to get lot of details, which is not there in your NCERT book. Okay. So I know how much difficult to remember all these details. Just if you practice like at least 1 to 2 hours today evening, it will be very clear for you and you feel very easy. Okay. Still, if you have any doubts, you can ask me on Monday by putting your questions in our chat box. Now your chat box is open. You can ask all your queries, like all your doubts. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Do it fast. I'm waiting for your reply. If you have any doubts, you can ask your doubts now. If you don't have doubts, just say no doubts, then you can leave the class. So Mr. Charantesh is saying hi sir, bye sir. Okay. Yeah, any doubts? Any doubts? Jayashree is asking, sir, please send PDF of text of botany and zoology. Okay, I'll ask your, no doubts, that's good. Haplodiploidic life cycle example, I told you it is Bryophytes. Remember, Harsha, haplodiploidic Bryophytes, diplohaplontic Pteridophytes, Gymnosperms, angiosperms. Diplontic Fucus, haplontic Volvax, Spirogyra, etc. Okay, and Jayashree is asking about the PDF of this information. It is already, I think, circulated. I'm not sure. If it is not circulated, I will instruct your deans or your principals or any other coordinator who is looking after your curriculum, that send it again in your WhatsApp groups. I think you have WhatsApp groups, like, right? Yeah. Okay then. So any more doubts? Shall I close the session now? At least today some people are dared to ask me, because yesterday I observed that some people are feeling shy and they are not very bold to ask the questions. Jayashree, good. So now there is no doubts, it seems. Okay, then we can close our session today, and we'll meet again on Monday 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much. Bye.